Bell Hooks was born in 1952 on September 25th in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Her name was Jean Watkins, though her pen name was Bell Hooks.
So sneaky.
She grew up in a segregated community and went to an all-black school until the 60s when they became desegregated. Single black women teachers in the segregated schools inspired her to become a teacher and writer. White teachers of the integrated schools didn't seem to be interested in inspiring their students, but demanded obedience.
Listen, pay attention, or you'll get detention. Seriously.
At age 10, she started to write poetry. At age 19, she wrote her first book, though it wasn't published until 1981. The title of the book was Ain't I a Woman? After writing her first book, she produced one book per year after that.
Jeez.
The thesis of the book was women's rights for both black and white women. She was very interested in feminism.
She probably wouldn't approve of this, Kim Kardashian.
One of her life goals was to show discrimination and domination are interconnected. This means that the dominant power usually is the group who discriminates. In 1973, she got a scholarship to Stanford and got her bachelor's in English.
Yay!
In 1976, at the University of Wisconsin, she achieved her master's. She taught at the University of Southern California for English and Ethnic Studies for 3 years. In 1983, she got her PhD in English literature. She believed you learn through life experiences and not just the classroom.
Sure do.
She was very involved in social issues and believed that literature was a way to improve oneself and become more aware. She believed in holistic education, which means collaboration over competition.
We love our teacher.
Collaboration over competition is the best way for a conducive learning environment because competition allows for students who may have had a head start to,
like me,
to have an easier time. This theory is based on the idea that opportunities are based on things like gender, class, race, and sexual orientation, also known as the Big Four.
Hey, we learned about that.
These issues are out of our control but dictate many situations in our lives. Bell Hooks was especially interested in the issues of race and gender in the form of feminism. The results of her ideals and philosophies can be best represented in a concrete way by explaining her accreditations, which would include ethnic studies and English literature at the University of Southern California in the mid-70s, African and Afro-American studies at Yale in the 80s, women's studies at Oberlin College, English again at City College of New York during the 90s and early 2000s, and in 2004 became professor and resident at Berea College in Berea, Kentucky.
I'm such an overachiever.
She used English and literature as a vehicle for discussion on more meaningful topics than simply the text, especially social issues which are measurable and highlight the Big Four, which include gender, sexual orientation, and race, and class. She believed that by teaching English and its social implications and meanings, you make students aware so that when they interact with those immediately around them, they can change those around them and eventually change the world.
And we will.
Some really smart things that she is known for saying are:
the process begins when the individual woman's acceptance that American women, without exception, are socialized to be racist, classist, and sexist in varying degrees, and that labeling ourselves feminists does not change the fact that we must consciously work to rid ourselves of the lack of legacy of a negative society. Bell Hooks, Ain't I a Woman? Black Women and Feminism. Another one is: no black woman writer in this culture can ever write too much. No woman has ever written enough. Bell Hooks. Remember Rapture, the writer at work. And our last one: it is crucial that critical thinkers who want to change our teaching practice talk to one another, collaborate in the discussion that crosses boundaries, and creates a space for intervention. Bell Hooks, Teaching and Transgress. Education as the Practice of Freedom.
And here's some of our works cited.
Thanks for listening. We love TNL 301.